Imagine waking up one morning and forgetting everything you know. You don't recognize your family, don't know how to walk or even how to brush your teeth. Now imagine the opposite. You can effortlessly ride a bicycle, type on a keyboard, or recall a historical fact instantly. This remarkable ability to store, retain, and recall information is called memory, the bridge between our past, present, and future. Memory allows us to learn, adapt, solve problems, and even form our identity. Let us understand the meaning of memory. Memory is the mental process of encoding, which means recording information from our senses, storing or saving information in the brain, retrieving or reproducing information when needed. In simple terms, memory is the brain's way of keeping information ready for future use, whether it is facts, experiences, or skills. Nature of memory. Memory is active and dynamic, continuous throughout life, essential for learning, reasoning, and problem solving, central to personality and identity. The information processing approach. Memory can be compared to a computer system. Input, senses take in information. Storage, information is retained over time. Output, information is retrieved when needed. Memory works in three stages. First, encoding or recording, converting sensory input into a memory trace. Second, storage or saving, retaining information over time. Third, retrieval, reproducing, bringing stored information back into consciousness. Now let us understand these in detail. First one, encoding or recording. Encoding is the process by which sensory input is transformed into a format the brain can store. Information enters through five senses: eyes, visual input; ears, auditory input; nose, smell; tongue, taste; skin, touch. Types of sensory codes: iconic memory, meaning visual images; echoic memory, meaning sounds. Example, hearing a melody on the radio or seeing a rainbow. If you pay attention, this info can move to a long-term memory. Storage or saving. Storage is retaining encoded information in the brain. It creates physical and chemical changes in neurons called engrams or memory traces. It can be short-term or long-term depending on attention, rehearsal, and emotional impact. Third, retrieval or reproducing. Basically, it means recalling information. Retrieval is bringing stored information into consciousness. Example, answering an exam question, recognizing a friend, recalling a phone number. If retrieval fails, it results in forgetting. Systems of memory. Model. Memory systems according to Atkinson and Shiffrin in 1968. He talks about sensory memory, short-term memory, which is also known as working memory or long-term memory. Let us understand each one in detail. According to him, information flows as sensory memory, then it moves on to short-term memory, and then it moves to long-term memory. First, let us understand sensory memory. Sensory memory is the initial ultra short-term storage of memory, capturing raw sensory input from the environment. Duration, iconic or visual, can be for 1 second. Echoic or auditory can be for 2 to 3 seconds. Function, it acts as a buffer or snapshot, holds information briefly until attention decides its importance, transfers attended information to short-term memory. Seeing lightning is iconic memory. Hearing your name in a crowded room is echoic memory. Smelling fresh rain is brief sensory trace. So let me simplify, students. Basically, any information you receive from your senses, it will only stay in your brain for 1 to 3 seconds. Only if you decide that this information is important, it will move to short-term memory. Now, let us understand short-term memory or working memory. It is also called as temporary storage for information we are actively thinking about. The duration is somewhere between 15 to 20 seconds. Capacity, it can be 7 plus 2 items or 7 minus 2 items. The key techniques here is, the first technique is chunking. Chunking meaning grouping items. Example, now here we have a number 19472026. I want to remember this number. It is difficult to remember. So I have to make this meaningful. To make it meaningful, I will divide this into 2. I will make it 1947, then comma 2026. So this is called chunking. I am trying to give meaning to something to try to remember. Second, maintenance rehearsal, repeating info. Example, repeating a phone number or anything you try to repeat again and again, then it will try to stay in your short-term memory for a longer time. It will then be pushed to long-term memory. How did you learn tables in school? By repeating again and again. Yes, 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8. Yes. Third, elaborative rehearsal, linking info to existing knowledge. Example, associating historical dates with stories. You will try to connect some date. Now when I say 1947, what do you remember? You remember Independence Day. When I say 15th August, you remember Independence Day. If I say 26 January, you will remember Republic Day. So we try to associate some important dates to some historical dates. Working memory components by Baddeley in 1992. First, central executive, meaning it coordinates attention. Second, phonological loop, meaning handles words and numbers. Third, visuospatial sketchpad, meaning handles images and spatial info. Examples of short-term memory is mental calculations, remembering a short grocery list, following directions temporarily. Short-term memory acts as a gateway to long-term memory, and without rehearsal, information is quickly lost. Now, from your sensory organs, information is moved to short-term memory. Here in short-term memory, if you rehearse it again and again, if you try to repeat it again and again, only then this information will move to long-term memory. Otherwise, it will be lost in between. And once it moves to long-term memory, then the information can become permanent there. Now let us understand long-term memory. Long-term memory is the permanent storehouse of knowledge, skills and experiences. Almost unlimited capacity. Now you talk about GB and TB in your phone and laptop, right? So similarly in your brain also you have unlimited capacity. It can last for hours to lifetime. Organized in categories for easy retrieval. Now long-term memory is further divided into subdivisions. Let us see what are those subdivisions. It is called procedural memory and declarative memory. Procedural memory is for skills, how to do things. Declarative memory is facts, what we know. Let us understand in detail with examples. I'll talk about procedural memory first. Procedural memory stores skills, habits and sequences of actions. It is also called implicit or unconscious. It is learned through repeated practice. It is long-lasting and automatic. Example, riding a bicycle, swimming or skating, driving a car, typing on a keyboard, playing a musical instrument. Procedural memory allows complex actions to be performed without consciously thinking of every step. Example, brushing teeth or tying shoelaces happens automatically thanks to procedural memory. Next, declarative memory. Declarative memory stores facts and knowledge and requires conscious recall. It is also called explicit or conscious memory. It allows intentional recall and verbal explanation. Now, it is for the declarative memory is further divided into semantic memory and episodic memory. Let us understand what are those. Semantic memory is general knowledge, facts or rules. Example, Delhi is the capital of India. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Birds can fly. Days of the week. Not personal, helps in reasoning and problem solving. Then, episodic memory. It is for personal experiences and autobiographical events. Example, first day at school, last birthday party, first trip to a new city. Time related. It is emotional and it is tied to personal identity. There are also some special and advanced memory types. Flashbulb memory, which means vivid detailed memories of emotional or shocking events. Example, earthquakes, major accidents, historical events. Prospective memory, memory to perform tasks in the future. Example, taking medicine, attending meetings. Then autobiographical memory, meaning memory of one's life story, includes childhood, school life, achievements, failures, provides continuity of identity. So, memory is a complex, powerful mental process that allows humans to learn, adapt, perform and survive. Students, now that we have understood how memory works and how information is stored in sensory memory, short-term memory and long-term memory, the next important question is, can we improve our memory? The answer is yes. Memory can be improved with proper methods and techniques. How learning moves from short-term memory to long-term memory. Let us understand. Information does not automatically go into long-term memory. It needs attention, repetition, meaning, proper organization. If learning is meaningful, it stays longer. If it is repeated again and again, it becomes stronger. If it is organized, it becomes easier to recall. Methods to improve memory. Psychologists have suggested many techniques to improve memory. This can be divided into two: mnemonics and organizational techniques, economical methods of memorization. Now let us understand what is mnemonics and organizational technique. The word mnemonic means a memory aid or memory helper. These are techniques that make learning easier, faster, more interesting and permanent. Mnemonics use rhymes, images, stories, short forms. Example, rhymes 30 days had September. First letter technique, Vibgyor for rainbow colors. Sentence making, every good boy deserves fruit for music notes. These techniques make learning enjoyable and long-lasting. Organization means arranging information in a meaningful way. Instead of learning a big mass of information, we divide it into headings, subheadings, points, diagrams, flowcharts. Example, instead of remembering 20 lines, we remember 5 headings. This reduces load on memory, makes recall easy. Association. Association means linking new information with old information. Example, if you meet a person named Rose, you connect her name with the flower rose. The stronger the association, the better the memory. Method of LOCI. This is very old and powerful memory technique. LOCI means places. In this method, we imagine a familiar place like our house, our school, our road. Then, we mentally place different items in different locations. While recalling, we walk through that place in our mind and collect the items. This method is very useful for speeches, lists, and long answers. Economical methods of memorization. These methods help us save time, save energy, improve retention. Massed learning versus spaced learning. Massed learning meaning studying everything in one setting. Spaced learning meaning studying with breaks and gaps. Psychologists say spaced learning is better for long lessons and difficult subjects because it reduces fatigue, it strengthens memory traces. Part learning versus whole learning. Whole learning meaning learning the entire lesson at once. Part learning meaning breaking the lesson into small parts. Short lessons, whole method is better. Long lessons, part method is better. Overlearning. Overlearning means continuing to study even after you have learned the lesson completely. For example, even if your answer is 100% correct, you still revise. This makes memory very strong, reduces forgetting, increase confidence in exam. Rote learning. Rote learning means learning by repetition without fully understanding. Example tables, formulas, definitions. Although understanding is better, rote learning is useful for quick recall and objective exams. The POWER power model of learning. This is a scientific and systematic way of studying. P meaning prepare, set goals, get ready to learn. O organize, arrange the material in proper structure. W work, read and understand the lesson carefully. E evaluate, check whether you have really learnt it or not. R rethink, think again and improve weak areas. So students, memory is not a gift only, it is also a skill. If you use proper methods, proper planning, proper techniques, your memory will automatically improve. Now we come to the final and very interesting topic of this chapter, forgetting. We all complain, I studied so much but I forgot everything in the exam hall. So the question is, what is forgetting? Why do we forget? Is forgetting always bad? Let us understand the meaning of forgetting. Forgetting is defined as the inability to recall or recognize information that was previously learnt. In simple words, forgetting means not being able to bring back what is already stored in memory. Nature of forgetting, the great gift. Forgetting is not always a curse, it is also a blessing. If we remembered every sad moment, every insult, every bad experience, life would become very painful. Forgetting helps us to reduce mental burden, to overcome sorrow and failure, to forget wrong movements once and correct once and learn again. So psychologists call forgetting the great gift of nature. Why do we forget? Sometimes we forget because we did not pay attention, the information was not properly encoded, there was no rehearsal, it never reached long-term memory. Ebbinghaus and the forgetting curve. Hermann Ebbinghaus in 1885 was the first psychologist to study forgetting scientifically. He used nonsense syllables like BOK, TAF, WUV, etc. He discovered most forgetting happens very quickly after learning, especially in the first few hours. Then the rate of forgetting becomes slower. This is shown by the forgetting curve. So, if we revise quickly, we can stop forgetting. Kinds and causes of forgetting. Forgetting is mainly divided into normal forgetting and abnormal forgetting. Normal forgetting. Under this, we have decay theory. According to this theory, if memory traces are not used, they become weak and slowly fade away. Just like if you do not use a road, grass grows on it. Similarly, if you do not revise, memory fades. Second, interference theory. Here, forgetting happens because different memories disturb each other. There are two types. Proactive interference. Old learning interferes with new learning. Example, you keep writing your old password instead of new one. Retroactive interference. New learning interferes with old learning. Example, after learning a new phone number, you forget the old one. Accident and shock. Sometimes head injury, accident, sudden emotional shock can cause temporary or permanent loss of memory. Now, let us understand abnormal forgetting. First type, amnesia. Amnesia means serious loss of memory. There are two main types: retrograde amnesia, meaning loss of memory of events that happened before the accident. Second, anterograde amnesia, meaning inability to form new memories after the accident. Alzheimer's disease. It is a serious brain disease found mostly in old age. In this, memory gradually becomes weak. Person forgets names, faces, places, even forgets himself. It happens because brain cells slowly die and connections break. Motivated forgetting, which is also called as repression. This idea was given by Sigmund Freud. According to him, sometimes we forget painful or fearful memories on purpose, without knowing it. This is called repression. Example, a very painful childhood incident which the person cannot remember. Childhood amnesia. Most people cannot remember events of first 3 or 4 years of life. This is called childhood amnesia. Reason, brain was not fully developed, language was not developed, experiences were not properly encoded. Drug and alcohol. Excessive use of sleeping pills, drugs, alcohol can damage memory. A serious condition called Korsakoff syndrome occurs due to vitamin B1 deficiency in alcoholics. So students, forgetting is sometimes natural, sometimes useful, and sometimes dangerous. But with good learning methods, proper vision, meaningful study, we can reduce forgetting and improve our memory. Let me conclude, students. Memory is what makes us who we are, from brief sensory impressions to active short-term thinking to long-term storage of skills, facts, and experiences. It shapes our identity, learning, and daily actions, helping us navigate the world with knowledge and skill. If you enjoyed this lesson and if you have understood the concepts and want to master psychology and memory effectively, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications for more easy to understand teacher-friendly lessons. Learn, understand, and remember forever. Please like my video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. Thank you for watching, children.